New comic book day is almost here. We got another stacked week, so it's time to take a look at the books coming out so I can tell you what I'm getting. What is up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. This channel is about comics. If you love them like I do, consider subscribing. And this is the latest in a series I like to call What I'm Getting, where I go through the books coming out in any given week. I tell you what's on my pull list, what's on the chopping block, and what's on the maybe list I've been making a game day decision on this week. This week is, like I said, a pretty stacked new comic book day. A lot of titles that I'm actually really excited about. So we're going to go ahead and get into them. I'll tell you about the book that I'm most excited for. But first, I have to give a shout out to our channel sponsor, Ultimate Comics. Now, Ultimate Comics, they're my local comic shop. I've been shopping with them for 3 years, and they've got 4 locations in the Raleigh-Durham area. In Raleigh, Durham, Crabtree Valley Mall, and in Cary. Now, you can shop in person at any of those locations, but I know a lot of my audience isn't local to the area. So, no worries. You can shop online at ultimatecomics.com and try your hand for exclusive variants, ratio variants, retailer exclusives that you can only get at Ultimate Comics. And also, you can shop at the Ultimate Comics live show twice a week. Every Tuesday night, they're going to do back issues, but also this week's new hot up and coming books, right? So if you don't have an LCS, this is a great time to make sure you're getting this Wednesday's books, like some of the books I'm going to shout out today. And then on Thursday, you've also got more back issues. You got like full runs and sets and all sorts of surprises. You never know what you're going to see on the live show. So shop on Facebook.com/Ultimate Comics Live Show twice a week. And thanks to Ultimate Comics for sponsoring this video. Now, you guys see I'm holding the tablet in my hand. I got a bunch of books on my list this week, and we got to get right into it with the book that I'm most excited for. And I bet you could guess it. This week, I am most excited for from DC Comics and Milestone. This is Duo #1. Now, Duo will be written by Greg Pak with artwork by Koi Pham. Scott Hanna's on inks and Chris Sotomayor is on colors. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, Duo is actually the first new Milestone character that we're getting from this new universe. And it's actually being dubbed Earth M. It's like you've got the original classic Milestone characters, Hardware, Static, and so on. But this new Duo character and others that will come are going to be on this Earth M imprint where you kind of explore different characters outside of Dakota City. So that's really interesting. Now, for the OG fans, Duo is a bit of a reworking of Xombi from the original Milestone series. So there's a very different twist here. So if you read the original Xombi, I don't want to spoil anything for a 30-year-old book, just in case you picked up the Milestone Compendium and just haven't gotten there yet. But the way that Xombi gets his powers in the original is very similar to how he'll get them here, but there's a key difference, right? So in this version, Xombi basically, Duo, Dr. David Kim, basically ends up being a hero, but he's like 2 people merged into one. So now they got to decide how they're going to use these powers, what they're going to do. This seems very compelling to me. It's a fresh take. It's the first fresh idea we've gotten from Milestone. I don't mean like they haven't had good ideas. I just mean it's the first glimpse into something wholly created by this new entity. So I'm excited about it. Anyway, it's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm showing you cover A. There's a B cover that's pretty good as well, but the one I really like is this 1 in 25 variant. Hopefully my shop gets it, and hopefully the markup's not too crazy because it's a stacked week, and I don't know if I can really swing it like that. But that's $3.99. I'm definitely getting the cover A, if nothing else. Now, since we're talking about Milestone, which is, an imprint of DC Comics, let's go ahead and continue with the DC Comics pull list, starting with Batman Superman World's Finest, issue #3. Now, World's Finest #1 was super refreshing to me. I loved it. It's like classic, almost Silver Age tones that you got from Batman and Superman. You got Dick Grayson as Robin. It's just some book in an indeterminate amount in the past. Did I say that right? Either way, it was a nice throwback that's not super heavily riddled by continuity and all this stuff like that. Issue 2 was more of the same. You got some interactions between Robin and Supergirl, but we're getting deep into this conspiracy, into the kind of the meat of the issue. We're meeting our villain, understanding more what's at stake. In issue 3, we're going to have Superman and Batman in hell, apparently. So I'm excited to get into this issue. This has just been a fun series. Like I said, I don't have as much time to read, so I love if I can just pick up a story and it's not like the latest in some super long epic saga. So I've been enjoying it. So Batman Superman, World's Finest, number 3, written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora. It's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. Next up is The Flash, issue 782. Now, The Flash 781, I read, that was the Bring Your Flash to Your Kid to Work Day. So it's Flash and Impulse. Is it Impulse? The new Wally West, or Wallace West, or whatever. Flash 782, we're picking up on basically the threat. You kind of ran into them having to like save the day and really depend on each other. So this should give us a conclusion of that storyline. It's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. And the next up is Nightwing, issue 92. Speaking of storylines wrapping up, last issue we finished up the Wally West, or Wally West Flash team up, and now we've got another solo tale for Nightwing, just going deeper into this Nightwing being the wanted man, like helping out as Dick Grayson and having a target on his back. I've really been enjoying the new Nightwing by Tom Taylor. Basically the whole year it's been out. It's been longer than that now. Ever since issue 78. If you're not reading Nightwing and you're not reading The Flash, you should be reading both. They're both really good. That's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. And the last book on my DC Comics pull list is, the latest in an ever-long epic saga. This is Batman, The Shadow War Zone, number 1. And the long story short is this is stories that are taking place during the Shadow War. So if you're reading the Shadow War event, would you say this is essential? Probably not, if I'm going based on how the other War Zone types of books have been going. Basically, with every Batman event, you get like another offshoot book that's kind of like an anthology, a bunch of short stories that just tells you more about what happened and how everybody else in the DC Comics universe had been affected by the ongoing event. So this should be a good issue. I really like the cover A, but there's a cover B by Howard Porter that is homaging the X-Men Days of Future Past cover. And so I'm definitely going after that one. So let's see. That's got a cover price of $5.99, whether you get the A cover or B cover. So if they got the B cover, I'm getting that one this week. And that's the end of my DC Comics pull list. If I just stick to the list and don't buy a bunch of variants for Duo, then I'm just looking at $22 for the DC books this week. Not bad. Not my worst week. So let's move on to Marvel Comics. Starting with a new book. This is Immortal XMen number 2. Now, Immortal XMen is kind of like is honestly taking the place, in my mind, as like the flagship X-Men book to tell you what's really going on with the Quiet Council and this new age for Krakoa. The first one was a little dense, honestly. I can't even lie. It took me a little while to get to it or through it, but I still enjoyed it. It's written by Kieran Gillen. I'm not sure who's on art, but if I wasn't going to buy it for any other reason, this cover A by Mark Brooks, it's exquisite. I love Mark Brooks covers. I love Mark Brooks doing these X-Men covers, and I'm super glad that he's the cover artist on Immortal XMen. This one's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. And wow, every book on my Marvel list this week is an X-Men book. So next up, we got Wolverine issue number 21. Now, let me check something real quick. All right, so I just had to check just to make sure I'm up to date on Wolverine. But yes, Wolverine 21 is out this week. And issue 20 was the issue where Deadpool comes and Deadpool's like tagging along. Basically like, yo, Wolvie, if I help you out, I need a spot in Krakoa, which is just fun. He wants to be like on the XForce. I really enjoyed Deadpool, like the tone of Deadpool kind of taking over the Wolverine book last month. And so I hope that there's more of that, but we also kind of get more into a serious story now that the villain has kind of reared her head and we understand a little bit more about what the threat is. So Wolverine number 21 out this week. It's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. All right, so the next book on my Marvel Comics pull list is XForce issue 28. So issue 27 of XForce was like a brand new jumping on point kind of after all of the X lives and X deaths of Wolverine kind of reset, gave us a new status quo, so to speak. So with X-Force issue 27, we entered a new threat called Cerebrax, which is basically taking over the minds and powers of, you know, some of the mutants that we know and love. And in this issue, apparently he's taking over Quentin Quire. So that's going to be exciting just to kind of see. I always love like a superhero gone rogue story and the rest of the team's got to like neutralize the threat without like killing their team member. That's always fun. I just like fun comic books. So I'm hoping that this is a wild ride that we won't soon forget. It's got a cover price of $3.99 and I'm getting cover A. And the last pillar of the X universe that I'm going to jump into this week is XMen Red, issue number 2. Now, XMen Red, this is kind of seen as like a continuation of Sword, but it's Storm being like in a leadership role on Araco, aka the planet Mars. And Storm's got her own ideas about how it should be run. Abigail Brand's got her own ideas on how it should be run. And there's going to be a clash of these ideologies until something prevails. You know I'm a Storm fan, so I'm rooting for the home team. But XMen Red number 2 has got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. And that's the end of my Marvel Comics pull list if I just stick to the list, which shouldn't be hard this week. I'm only paying $16 for my Marvel books this week, and that's a win. Now, let's move on to the independent and creator-owned books, which there's only one of them this week. And I was honestly surprised to see that it was still coming out this week. But this is The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 39. 38 just came out last week. There was a bit of a delay, I guess, from the distributor. But issue 39 is apparently still on track for this week, according to previews. So I'm going to brace myself. If it doesn't appear this week in the pull list, I won't be mad. I'll get it. But I'm still grabbing it. This basically is reprints of The Walking Dead. For all the people like me who didn't read it the first time around or who just want to see it in color because last time around it was in black and white. So I'm really enjoying this new deluxe format with like tons of letters pages. I think it's super dope. It's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm getting cover A. And that's the only indie book on my list this week. So if I just stick to the list, those will cost me, or that one will cost me $4. And that means we've reached the end of our list. And so if I just stick to my list, I'm only spending $42 on comics this week. That means I'm $8 under budget, which means I got some room to work with for that ratio variant. Hopefully it comes through. So that's exciting. Now let's take a look and see what other books are coming out that you might be interested in and that might be on the maybe list. All right. So I'm just scrolling here through the League of Comic Geeks. Oh, that's interesting. Good Boy number 1 is getting a director's cut. I didn't read Good Boy, but it just looks like a fun book. It's kind of like John Wick in reverse. So, you know, a mercenary maniac killing dog. Like, what's not to like about that? If you're still reading House of Slaughter from James Tynion, issue 6 is out this week. Let's see. King Spawn. I dropped King Spawn, but it's got a great cover A this week. Oh, here's a book for the maybe list. Savage Avengers number 1. So Savage Avengers, if you haven't been following, it's like basically like this ragtag group of Marvel characters that are formed into a team that they're calling the Avengers. So it looks like this configuration, among other people, we got the Black Knight, we got Elektra as Daredevil, you got Conan, you got Deathlock. And like I said, there's some other people that I don't just recognize based on their faces, but that's interesting. That's interesting. So I might give that one a try. I heard that the license for Conan has just moved on from Marvel. So I wonder if this series is like gonna still happen. Let's see. Okay. Another book on the maybe list, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Best of the Rat King. You know, he's going to be important to the Armageddon game. event happening this summer. So maybe get caught up on the Rat King. Other than that, I'm not seeing a bunch of books that I think I just gotta have. Oh, wait. There's a Looney Tunes comic out this week. And the cover price is $2.99. That sounds fun. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it that stands out to me. But I know for the Dynamite fans, there's a bunch of Red Sonja variants out this week. Thor number 25 is out this week, and there's a lot of covers for that one. Yeah, all in all, there's a whole lot out if you're a comic book fan. So definitely grab those. Like I said, if you're going to grab them and you're in the Raleigh area, you got to stop by Ultimate Comics. Any of the 4 locations will be great. And if you can't make it out to a comic shop, then try the Ultimate Comics live show this Tuesday night at 7 p.m. I'll leave a link in the description below. They will have all the hot covers for the books this week. You just got to make sure you're fast on the fingers so you can claim them. So that's going to do it for me. Hope you saw something you liked in this video. And if not, hey, that's cool. But you can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.